Team Fortress 2 is a series I wish I could get into. Not that I don't like it, quite the opposite actually, but I'm trash at PC games, and the Xbox 360 version of TF2 is actual garbage. But this series still captivates me with its fun animated shorts, shockingly emotionally powerful comics, and, of course, its iconic cast of lovable characters. Death Battle has only ever used one of them, and yeah, my opinion on Tracer vs Scout has only gotten worse with time. I used to adore it. I still really liked it at the time of my Season 3 ranking, and now, yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but it just doesn't do much for me anymore. There are still 8 mercenaries left who haven't gotten a death battle yet though, so I'm gonna go over a match I like for all of them. I'll talk about them a bit more than I did with the Smash matches since there aren't nearly as many to go over. Also, I'm only talking about the mercenaries. I don't think anyone was clamouring for characters like Miss Pauling or the Bread Monster on Death Battle. Sorry to any stands of Blutarch Man, but your dreams aren't coming true today. The only one I can actually see people wanting a match for is Saxton Hale, so just, I don't know, throw him against Mr. Gar and let him get torn to pieces, I don't know. Only rule for this list is that I can only use a series once, and I'm still allowed an Overwatch battle. Tracer vs Scout isn't taking that spot. Alright, let's get into the matches. The Soldier vs Sarge. I will preface this by saying I do not want this match anytime soon. It would feel really in poor taste given Rick May dying of COVID earlier this year. But once enough time has passed, I'd be fine with this match happening. The personalities of these two match perfectly, and it would lend itself to being a really funny, high-energy match. Sarge would win if the stats in red vs blue are anything to go off. The 50 megaton bomb, which is actually only a 10 megaton bomb, is a huge outlier, but given they counted it before, it should mean that there's no way Soldier should be able to hurt, let alone kill Sarge. Pyro vs Dingo. Pyromaniacs with huge flamethrowers. There's no way Pyro wins this unfortunately if the stats in Crash vs Spyro or anything to go off. The fight could be cool. They could play around with Pyro vision for some comedic moments, though hopefully not in a cursed way like with Riot Rumble. The fire constantly spreading around the field could make for a really good way to create atmosphere as well, like in John Telbane vs Saberwolf. That's all I really have to say for this one. I don't know Crash characters very well. Demoman vs Scotsman. Scottish eye patches, swords, sure. I don't know Samurai Jack well at all. I'm going to assume Scotsman wins if he's even remotely comparable to Jack. I'd still root for Demoman though. Heavy vs Zarya, the only TF2 vs Overwatch match I still like. The connections are really surface level, they're big Russians with big guns, but I can absolutely see both of them just throwing their guns away at some point and turning into a fist fight for a bit. It sounds like it would be a really fun clash of personalities. I'm not sure who would win off of stats. Zarya isn't a character who's done a whole lot in Overwatch, but she has her bubble that would briefly block Heavy's bullets, while Heavy would be defenseless against her laser cannon which can cut through metal, so I'd probably bet on Zarya winning. Engineer vs Sprocket. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is only here because I had nothing for NG, and every single group I asked for suggestions gave Sprocket as the main one. The only other one I got was Funky Kong, but he's just too based and red-pilled and unironically probably stomps NG harder than Sprocket ever could. Oh yeah, this is unfortunately a stomp against NG. There's no way he's keeping up with someone who can scale to lightning dodgers, earthquake creators, and people who have survived volcanic eruptions. This is cursed and I hate it. Medic vs Herbert West. Insane doctors who toy around with life itself and have both been resurrected from death. Medic probably loses since he's one of the less explicitly powerful characters in the game, and if Herbert injects him with this syringe then he's done for. I know there's the whole Medic made the respawn canon stuff, but every single time a TF2 character's been respawned, it's been due to outside influence. Heavy got revived by Medic's tech, Medic was revived by the devil or some shit, and Scout was given literal divine intervention. Yeah, hot take, but I think Scout would beat Tracer if he had God on his side. If you want to go down that road, Herbert just blatantly cannot die and can come back as many times as he needs, while Medic only has a half dozen or so resurrections left.
No resurrections this time.
Also, Herbert scales to Ash Williams, who broke Spider-Man's already broken jaw, so he just blows up the solar system and wins. GG's. Sniper vs Marquise. probably isn't fair. I don't doubt that Battleborn has some ridiculous stuff that would make Marquise stomp, but I like the idea of this fight. Both are snipers, obviously, but I really like how they contrast. Sniper is assumed as a crazed gunman, but is actually a gentleman with proper etiquette and standards. Marquise is the exact opposite, looking like a gentleman but is actually a sociopath who murders people just for the hell of it. At least that's what I'm gathering from the Battleborn wiki. I like the idea of it being a primarily long-ranged battle, but when they bring it in close you can have Marquise use stuff like his time-slowing powers and have Sniper use his knife and Jurati. Spy vs Agent 47. Easily the episode I want most out of all of these. This has potential for great hand-to-hand combat as well as some cool stealth and usage of the environment. Spy is my favourite Team Fortress 2 character and he is by far my favourite of the animated shorts, so of course I'd root for him to win, even if I do like what I've played of the Hitman games. There's no other way to end an episode where Spy wins than with a backstab. Hopefully they'd give him the Dead Ringer so that we could get a really cool fake out, and maybe the Spicicle as well to make for a more unique kill. That didn't really take that long at all. I won't drag this outro out longer than I need to. If you have any better opponents for any of these characters, drop them in the comments. Maybe there will be a good match that I missed, like Pyro vs the Deep from the Amazon original series The Boys, as a deep thematic match where we finally have fire and water users collide. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one where I predict matches for Death Battle Season 8.